Welcome back to Samvat 2079 MF Café live straight from the NSE. Now, one thing which is clear is that the fund managers are still extremely bullish on the domestic theme. But one sector which took a big knock this year was IT, and that has not really seen a recovery. Mahesh, I wanted your thoughts on this. Are you now selectively buying as a portfolio manager into the IT space?
Yeah, so the IT sector has, just like all the global stocks, we have seen a derating. IT sector has also seen a derating. I think there were two concerns which were there in the IT sector. One was because of the global slowdown, whether you will see growth rate, which had actually inched up to around the mid-teens, going back to around high single digits. And margin pressures, right, because of the increase in the labor cost. I think while there could be a slowdown because of US recession, but I think we don't see the growth actually going down, say, below 8 to 9% next year. And because the spend is more towards digital, it's at the front end. And a lot of corporates are still behind the curve and they need to invest over there. So that should not get impacted as what had happened in the earlier down cycles. And the pressure on margin which was there because of higher wage costs. And that is easing at the margin. And we saw that in this quarterly numbers. Actually, some of the IT companies surprised on the margin front. So I think with that headwind behind and with valuations now, still slightly above the historical average. But I think given the current uncertainty, I think IT sector would still provide stability to the portfolio because I think earnings growth will still be there. A lot of these companies are generating good cash flows. So the cash flow yield is anywhere around 3 to 5%. And that should provide good support. So it becomes a good defensive in this market to really hold on with a kind of a steady return. Okay.
Naren, I think you had made this point, right? That it was not for Indian IT, maybe, India would have been Sri Lanka or Bangladesh. So, no, but how are you approaching this space now?
I think it's a great sector with a long-term view. I think India has done a phenomenal job there. And I think it's a sector where you should do systematic investing. Irrespective of what happens to the US economy, I think if you do systematic investing in the sector, you're likely to make money. People keep saying China is the headquarters of manufacturing, India has been the headquarters of services. And you can see that every entity in the world has set up services base in India. And there is no escaping that the best source of educated people in the world is India. So I think it's a phenomenal long-term opportunity. If US goes through a recession, it may still correct from here. But it's a phenomenal opportunity to do systematic investing at this point of time over the next 1 year.
Nilesh bhai, what's your view? Because these companies have been great ambassadors for India, right? I mean, over the last many years, they have been phenomenal compounders. Is it just because the run got too excessive post-COVID? Is that also the reason that you've seen this bear market play out? And is this providing an opportunity, or is this still going to remain underperformer for the foreseeable future of, say, next 1 year or so?
So, in my opinion, IT is a sector where one should accumulate in this correction. They had run up in anticipation of higher growth, as Mahesh mentioned. And there were some excesses because small caps were trading at a larger premium to large cap. But the basic fundamentals of IT sector remain. The demand may slow down this year, but it will pick up next year as world is moving to digital. And to give you a very small example, in Germany, we saw one minister saying that we can't process more than 100,000 transactions a day. And in India, we shift 10 crore transactions a day to Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Yojana. So Germany will have to come to India level someday. And that's the opportunity for Indian IT sector. Governance-wise, the sector is squeaky clean. ROEs are good. They are declaring huge amount of dividend. And many of the companies are doing buyback. So all the stars are aligned for IT sector to deliver performance to shareholders. However, you have to take volatility on stride.
It's interesting you said that because we are at NSE and I believe NSE alone handles 15 crore orders per day.
It is the world's largest exchange in terms of volume.
In terms of volumes, and 15 crores, transactions a day. So obviously the IT infrastructure has to really back it up. Okay, we got just about 2.5 minutes left on the show. Let's get a bit candid. What's been your biggest mistake and what's been your biggest sort of high point of this Samvat?
Well, both things can be covered in this share. जमाना उसे क्या गिराएगा जिसे ठोकरों ने चलना सिखाया. So ठोकर लगती रही, but हम खड़े होते रहे और चलते रहे.
Which one are you talking about?
मतलब market में there were ups and downs.
Okay.
You just took it on your stride. And now we have seen so many ups and downs that this doesn't impact much.
Okay. Naren, same question to you. Any one investment or something which really stood out for you this year, or something which you thought that maybe was not a good call?
I like to talk about good calls as an
okay,
organization. We popularize balanced advantage
Okay,
as
so
a category.
what to your mind was the highlight?
I think the highlight was as an organization we popularize balanced advantage as a category. Today, every AMC in the industry has launched that category. And if you went back 10 years back, I don't think anyone would have known about that category. And today, everyone has got into that category. And that is certainly something that at ICICI Prudential we have felt happy about. Because I think if you look at the lower volatility in equity markets in India, I think part of the reasons is because of popularizing that category. Because it's a category which buys when the markets go down and sell when the markets go up. So I think that's something we've been happy about.
Okay, Mahesh, what's one thing that you felt good about and one thing you're looking forward to?
So I think our call on the domestic economy, especially the banking sector, I think it's an early call which we took, and that's gone its ups and downs. I mean, we saw initially when the Russia-Ukraine crisis, there was a sell-down, but the sector has really come up very well, and I think it looks good, poised to do well. It's a play on the domestic economy, and a lot of things are falling in place for the banking sector in terms of margin improvement, a very benign credit cycle, and corporate balance sheets are now delevered, so they could probably lever and provide credit growth going forward. So I think that was one of the high point, I would say. Also, I think trying to get some investors back into the fixed income. So we came out with the first to come out with the target maturity plans, because there was volatility in interest rates. But okay, if you really matched your investment horizon with the maturity, then there were still yields which were there to be taking in the marketplace. And the risk reward with equities this year not doing well, I think getting investors to come into that through the target maturity plans, I think one of the big success for us, I would say.
Okay, I want to end this show with one more line that you had told me, the Bijli line, right? If you can repeat that, and then I'll end the show.
So, जमाने को जहाँ पे बिजली गिराने की जिद थी, बंदे को घरौंदा वहीं बनाने की जिद थी.
Okay, so basically where you had a lot of headwinds, which is where you made portfolios and they've done well. Gentlemen, thanks a lot for joining me, and once again to all of you and to your family and your team, a very happy Diwali and a prosperous
Same to all the customers and viewers.
Happy Diwali
to all of you.
Okay, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Samvat 2079 MF Café. Thanks a lot for watching.